Once upon a time in a galaxy far, far away. Planet Ord Mantell, 3,935 years before the Battle of Yavin 4. Gray clouds moved over the small village between the mountains. Simple little dwellings of industrious workers who toiled hard for their bread on the desolate planet. Be it with hard work or other dubious activities. Smuggling, gambling, black market dealings. Full program for a world of wasteland and volcanic rock. But since the planet was largely undeveloped and built on, there were enough opportunities not to attract attention and to remain hidden. The workers were slowly bringing their belongings back into their homes when a rainstorm hit. The crates containing the day's harvest were brought into the warehouses by the sulfur gatherers. There was a low rumble in the sky, like a dark sign of a long evening. The only thing that countered this pessimistic sound was the music from the only building that could be described as large in the small settlement of Talor, which was just under construction. A small neon writing buzzed at the entrance and revealed that it was a bar and canteen. The small jukebox wasn't the most modern and the sound was rather crisp and smoky. For farmers, an investment of the month that you treat yourself to. For some lifestyle. There weren't many seats, but by late afternoon they were all occupied and every space used for standing. The many conversations, laughter and murmurs almost louder than the music itself. The smell of alcohol in the air and sweat, noticeable as the crowd began to part in a straight line. A figure walking purposefully towards a seating area, dressed in a robe. Hood pulled up. The aura radiated by this person was anything but trustworthy. The goal of him, however, just as little. Sitting in the corner, left foot bent on right thigh, rocking slightly to the music. The head was supported on the hand, looking into emptiness. The long dark brown hair hung over the face and the other hand had a firm grip on a glass with a green drink. The fashionable antithesis, however, to the approaching newcomer, who looked like a monk from the overflowing robes, whereas his target was mostly dressed in black. Corellian trousers with long lacings down the legs, a beige shirt, a black cloak with a long hood and the shoulders were encased by a shoulder armor of the same color in plates like scales, made of durable rancor leather. His gaze didn't go up when the alien figure stopped in front of him and at first just stared at him.
No wonder you survived the Civil War. Snuggled up in the dirtiest holes in the galaxy. And you got to join our peers?
The gaze stayed in the void. Only reaction. The eyebrows furrowed briefly and looked impressed into the glass before he took another sip. Does your ramblings have a punchline or are you the ones entertaining here? His voice came out calmly so that he could still look up calmly. With a tearful look, he brushed the strands of hair out of his face, which revealed 4 small scars diagonally on the right cheekbone. Beneath the monk's habit, the slanting horns on the forehead protruded as the guest lifted his head to reveal the face of an Iktochi as he slowly sat down.
Quentin Terra.
He growled, less than pleased, all the time looking at the young man in the seating area.
But should it surprise me, your master was a traitor, as was her student. And you have engaged with powers you can never master.
The Jedi growled at him. Quentin impassively took another sip of the green drink, looking dazed and weary. But don't help but be impressed by these words. And then you, Euphium Hysil, a good lapdog of Master Atris, who, if I'm not mistaken, lives in exile and lets her misdeeds be carried out by henchmen. After she was put in her place by Master Surik, Ual still disparagingly calls the exile. His eyes swiveled gloomily up from the glass and met his counterpart. You accuse us all of treachery. It's all a matter of personal point of view. You really think I want to master some dark powers? One of my role models may be Master Keldroma, but who said I follow his path? Hysil snorted derisively.
Lots of words, liquor, dirty tricks, you're a fallen man. And nothing you do now can save you from arrest. Buying time won't do you any good. We know you're alone.
He growled at him. Quentin took another sip and seemed beside himself, staring blankly at the table. Aren't we all? But if you like what's being done with the Jedi Order now, I can't stop you. He bore witness to this situation and slowly got up. A little wobbly, he stayed behind the table and very slowly raised his arms to surrender. The Jedi in front of him also stood up with a satisfied smile and pulled out the handcuffs. Briefly he looked at Quentin again skeptically. He held his hands up reasonably, looked at Hysil with a slanted look, while his palms wanted to close a little. As if they want to grab something. Hysil suddenly felt something. Something wasn't right, and just as he was about to speak, Quentin intervened and whispered conspicuously. There's only one problem with this. Two objects suddenly erupted from the epaulettes of Quentin's armor. Two small lightsabers aimed through the force into Quentin's half-open palms, only to be ignited the moment he grasped. Bright yellow short blades hissed out, and with a glistening movement his arms completed a perfect semicircle in front of him. Hysil's eyes widened in shock. A muffled contrition sounded when the two lightsaber blades slid through his neck at the same time, and Quentin's crossed arms came to rest against his body again. The short blades straight up. The short blades disappeared just as quickly as they were ignited, and the astonished looks of some guests faded again in the hustle and bustle of the bar, as if nothing had happened but a mistake. And Quentin suddenly finished the sentence in a completely sober tone. That wasn't alcohol in my glass. Hysil clutched his neck, eyes wide, unable to scream or call for help. The stabbing pain and the smell of burned flesh bore witness from a deeper wound. The perpetrator in front of him, however, calmly slid his weapons back into the hidden mounts on his epaulettes. Before he took the last sip from the glass and toasted the bartender in a friendly manner, "Your Cadron pickle soda is superb." He put the glass back on the table and looked at the other person again. The focus on them had gone again. The new guest had probably only briefly flared up, and the hissing, who knows where it came from. All routine, and as long as it didn't turn into a fight. A view the Jedi newcomer clearly did not share when viewed from the front. Hysil huffed and wheezed, his eyes cut through the air like knife blades at the sight of Quentin. His hand gripped his neck tightly. The blades had burned most of the wound, but the damage remained. His voice was just a wasted rattle and a last remnant of what used to be his vocal cords. Words were no longer a form of expression. His thoughts, however, still screamed out the will. One last character was needed. "Don't do that," Quentin whispered, calmly looking at Hysil. This tortured himself to turn around and give the signal to his henchmen, who were no doubt hidden in the crowd. "Hysil, don't try," Quentin whispered again. Then there was a click. Another. The loading of weapons.